fast car, vroom vroom, action, boom boom, fun. K-Dogs movie review. Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, is directed by George Miller and stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Chris Hemsworth, and Tom Burke. The origin story of renegade warrior Furiosa before her encounter and team up with Mad Max. I guess I should say my quick thoughts on the Mad Max franchise. I didn't see the original 3 films from the 80s, so I can't comment on those. But Fury Road, I really enjoyed. It was a high octane action movie filled with great set pieces, fantastic use of practical and CG effects blended together, an overall simple story that was executed pretty well. There was just enough lore in Fury Road to have me interested and wanting more. So I was pretty excited for another Mad Max movie. However, when they said it was a prequel for this one, I kind of got a little worried. I've talked about this before on my channel, but prequels can really be hit or miss. A lot of times they can be used as just a quick cash grab. So, what I was really looking for this movie or in any prequel is something that enhances the story we already know while also being its own story that can basically be watched in a vacuum on its own. As a Mad Max movie, I just wanted more explosions, more action, more great car chase sequences, maybe adding a bit more to the lore, just overall another great big action fest. So as I said, I was looking forward to it, but a little worried. And I gotta say, Furiosa pretty much does most of it right. Not all of it, which I'll get into, but I had a great time with this movie. I will start off by saying that this is a much darker movie than the previous one. I forget if Fury Road was rated R, but this one is, and it definitely holds that R rating. While not necessarily gory, there are a lot more darker themes in this story as we explore Furiosa's background. What's great about this sequel that I talked about before is we really expand on the lore of the Mad Max world, of the wasteland, and we explore a lot more of her background, her motivations, who she is as a character, and how the people around her have influenced who she is in the Fury Road movie. Another thing about this I was not expecting was we focus a lot more on Furiosa's character as a child. Anya Taylor-Joy doesn't come on screen for at least an hour into the movie or so, but the child actress does a phenomenal job as the character. You can tell that she's seen some shit. She is a child of this universe, but she's crafty, intelligent, and for a child, strong in this universe. She isn't afraid to just stab a guy if she needs to. And so that was great to see because I was a little worried at first when we were focusing a lot on a child. I thought, no, I don't know. Is it just going to be them seeing horrific moment after horrific moment until we age 15 years later and Anya Taylor-Joy is this scarred human? It's some of that, definitely, but Furiosa as a child holds her own. Again, I won't get into spoilers. That part of the movie was great. As she transitions into Anya Taylor-Joy, that actress does a great job too. Again, this is more of a role that is more like Tom Hardy's, not much dialogue for the character. So she's just acting a lot with her facial expressions and physicality as we go through these different action scenes. However, Chris Hemsworth is definitely the standout in this movie. He does a great job. This might be my favorite role of his. He's a great villain that you love to hate. He's funny without being annoying, and he's evil enough while not being too over the top in this kind of gross, dark world that they live in. And what's great about this movie is that they could have easily just made Chris Hemsworth an over the top, almost comical villain, which he kind of is. But there are scenes where we get some real character depth and some real understanding about why he is the way he is, too. So that was actually really great to see because I really wasn't expecting that from this movie. All they wanted was some over the top action and fun characters to watch. And I gotta say, we really do actually get a lot of that great action once again. The set pieces here are fantastic. The set designs are pretty cool, not great, which I'll get into, but the way the camera moves and the look of this wasteland is great. We have a lot more of those high frame rate action sequences. This movie is definitely a Mad Max movie and has a lot of fun with it. The sound design is also fucking great here, too. I think this may be worth buying on 4K Blu ray just for the sound design alone. I feel Nicole Kidman yelling in my brain.
Sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
But it's great. The roaring of the engine motors, the screams from certain people, the sounds of horns on trucks and cars, explosions, or even quiet, more intimate scenes where people are cutting hair or running up a sand dune. The sound design is on point and really enhanced a lot of this movie. Because, and that leads to one of my negatives for this movie, is that there wasn't too much of a score. And here, there's really only one or two moments where I thought the score really amplified things. I mean, the scenes are great on their own, but I just wanted more. I wanted more music. Also, the writing. I mean, it's a Mad Max movie. I'm not really going into it for a complex script, but I think the writing and the pacing felt kind of off for this movie. Fury Road was very simple. We got to get from point A to point B, and a lot of shit happens along the way. But in this movie, it felt like we're going to this location. Okay, now we're going back here. Oh, wait. Okay, no. Now we're going back over here. And it just kind of felt a little all over the place. So I think the pacing could have been a little better. There's one section of this movie and Furiosa's life that we explore that felt very rushed. And I wanted more of that. But at the same time, this movie is already close to 2.5 hours long. So I'm not necessarily saying I wanted a longer movie. It's just the story probably could have been cleaned up or told in a more coherent way, where we're able to get some of those scenes while omitting some other stuff. And some of the motivations felt a little off at points. It basically corrected itself by the end of the movie, which I really liked. Final nitpick though, what's great about this movie is we expand upon the lore of the wasteland and we visit these other areas, or these other towns, so to speak. And I get it that it's post-apocalyptic and everything's covered in sand, but the places that we visit all kind of look the same. I kind of wish they had changed up the style a little bit more and really give them their own distinct looks. It was a little bit of a roller coaster ride. But those are kind of nitpicks because overall I did really enjoy this movie. I think this is a great sequel. I'm glad we're actually getting some good sequels. I mean, this and I think it was the first Omen were really good. This movie does a great job of enhancing the events of Fury Road while being its own story. But it doesn't get rid of the good things that we loved from Fury Road. And so for that, I have to give it absolute praise. And again, the action is top notch. Some reviewers have been complaining a bit about the use of CG in this. I think they still do a great job of blending the two. I didn't find anything CG related sticking out too much. I overall enjoyed all the action in this. I would absolutely recommend seeing this movie. If you can afford it, seeing it in theaters is great too. I still think I enjoyed Fury Road more than this movie just because it's a little simpler and just easier to watch. That's not to say this is a bad movie at all. This is still top tier. And it's a great movie that blends right into the beginning of Fury Road. So I can definitely imagine people watching this as a double feature. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie in the comments below. Did you like it more or less than Fury Road? Did you like some of the decisions they made with Furiosa's background? Until next time.